You brush your teeth twice a day. You floss. Sometimes you buy the fancy paste, the one with fluoride and a name you can't pronounce. You see a dentist who scrapes, drills, and tells you to do better. And you still get cavities, crooked teeth, wisdom teeth that don't even fit in your own head. Now meet a caveman. He never brushed, never flossed, never met a dentist or a mint or a tube of anything. He ate with his mouth and cleaned it with nothing. And his teeth were straighter than yours, stronger than yours, and almost never rotted. A man who did nothing, beating a man who does everything. Skulls thousands of years old turn up with a full set of clean, straight teeth, the kind you pay thousands for. So what happened? Why is the modern mouth with all its weapons quietly losing to a Stone Age one? Because your teeth were never built for the world you feed them. And the reason they're failing starts the day humans did the smartest and worst thing they ever did. Here's the first thing to get straight. This is not your fault. You didn't get cavities because you're lazy. Your teeth aren't crooked because you skipped a night of flossing. Something bigger is going on, a mismatch. Your teeth are ancient hardware, tens of thousands of years old, running in a mouth you feed like a modern human. And the gap between those two things is where everything goes wrong. It's not one cause, it's a stack of them piled up over time. What actually eats a tooth? What your ancestors ate that saved theirs? The exact moment humans broke their own mouths. And a twist most people never hear. Your jaw is still shrinking right now, generation by generation. We saved that one for the end. So start at the beginning. What is actually destroying your teeth? A tooth is one of the hardest things your body makes, harder than bone. It's built to last a lifetime and then some. So what's strong enough to destroy it? Not sugar directly, not acid you drink, something alive. Your mouth is not empty. It's an ecosystem packed with hundreds of species of bacteria. Most of them are harmless. Some are even helping you. But a few of them have one favorite food, sugar. Every time you eat something sweet or starchy, you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding them. And when those bacteria eat sugar, they do what living things do. They produce waste. Their waste is acid. That acid sits on your tooth and slowly dissolves it, molecule by molecule, from the outside in. That's a cavity, not dirt, not rot from the air, a tiny acid attack fed by what you eat. Which means the real question was never how you clean your teeth. It's what you feed the things living on them. So let's go feed a caveman. For most of human history, we were hunter-gatherers. No farms, no shops, no sugar. You ate what you could catch, dig up or pull off a plant. Meat, fish, roots, nuts, wild greens. Tough, fibrous, gritty food. Food you had to rip and grind for a long time before you could swallow it. And almost none of it was the soft, sweet, sticky sugar those bacteria crave. So the acid attack barely happened. The bacteria that rot teeth had almost nothing to eat. This isn't a guess, we have their skulls. Dig up a hunter-gatherer from 20,000 years ago, and you often find a full set of teeth. Worn down from all that hard chewing, yes, but clean, strong, and cavity-free. Some skulls go a whole lifetime without a single hole. A mouth that never saw a toothbrush, outperforming yours, which owns 3. Now, it wasn't always perfect. A few groups who leaned hard on starchy wild foods like acorns did get some decay. But as a rule, for tens of thousands of years, human teeth were fine. Then we changed everything. About 12,000 years ago, humans did something that changed the species forever. We started to farm. Instead of chasing food, we grew it. Wheat, barley, rice, corn. In a lot of ways, it was the smartest thing we ever did. It built villages, cities, everything you know. It was also a disaster for your mouth. Because those crops had one thing in common. They were packed with starch. And starch, once it hits your saliva, starts breaking down into sugar. For the first time, those acid-making bacteria had a steady, endless buffet. And they multiplied. Dig up human skulls from right after farming begins, and you see it appear, cavities. The same species, the same teeth, suddenly starting to rot. The switch from hunting to farming is written, plain as day, in the holes in our ancestors' teeth. We traded a hard, varied diet for a soft, starchy one, and our mouths paid the bill. But farming was only the first hit. The knockout came much later. Fast forward to around the year 1850. The Industrial Revolution. For the first time in history, sugar became cheap, and processed flour became everywhere. Suddenly, the average person wasn't just eating starch. They were eating pure, refined sugar every single day. In tea, in bread, in sweets, in things that had never been sweet before. To the bacteria in your mouth, this was paradise. The whole ecosystem tipped. The acid makers took over, and they never gave the mouth back. Study ancient plaque across time, and there's a clear line. Around the Industrial Revolution, the rot-causing bacteria go from a minority to the rulers of your mouth. That's the mouth you inherited, not the caveman's balanced one, the industrial one, flooded with sugar and run by the wrong bacteria. So you brush, you floss, you fight a holding action twice a day against an ecosystem built to lose. And you still lose ground slowly, filling by filling. Your ancestors didn't win this fight because they were cleaner than you. They won it because they never started it. But cavities are only half the story. Look in the mirror at the other half. Your teeth are probably a little crooked, crowded. Maybe you wore braces to force them straight. And somewhere in the back, you've got wisdom teeth that either hurt, got pulled, or never had room to come in. Here's the strange part. Your ancestors almost never had this problem. Their teeth came in straight, all of them, wisdom teeth included, sitting in a neat, complete row. So why does modern humanity need braces and oral surgery just to fit its own teeth in its own mouth? Because your jaw is smaller than it was built to be. A jaw isn't a fixed size. It grows based on how hard you use it as a child. Chew tough, raw, fibrous food for years, and the jaw grows big and strong with room for every tooth. Chew soft, cooked, processed modern food, and the jaw grows up underdeveloped. Too small. So you end up with a full ancient set of teeth crammed into a shrunken modern jaw. They twist, they overlap. And the last ones in, the wisdom teeth, find the door already closed. Your crooked smile isn't bad luck. It's a jaw that never got the workout it evolved to need. Which raises a darker question we'll come back to. If soft food is still shrinking us, where does it end? Now, none of this means the ancient world was painless. Teeth still cracked. They wore down to the nerve. Abscesses happened, and an abscess could kill you. And here's the part that stops you cold. They tried to fix them. In a cave in Italy, researchers found a tooth from about 14,000 years ago, with a cavity that had been scraped clean with a tiny, sharp stone. That's dentistry, older than farming. In what's now Pakistan, they found teeth from around 9,000 years ago with neat, round holes drilled with a tiny bow drill. Someone sat another person down and drilled into a living tooth with a stone on someone who was wide awake. Somewhere else, a broken tooth was patched with a filling made of beeswax. Sit with that. Before riding before the wheel, humans were performing dentistry. They didn't understand bacteria. They had nothing to numb the pain, just a problem, and the stubborn human refusal to live with it. So they weren't living in some cavity-free paradise by luck. Their diet did most of the work. But when their teeth did fail, they fought back with stone tools and beeswax, which is either horrifying or heroic depending on your dentist. So where does that leave you in your toothbrush? Brushing helps. It really does. It scrapes off the bacteria and buys you time. But understand what you're actually doing. You're managing a problem, not fixing its cause. The cause is on your plate 3 times a day. You could brush perfectly and still lose if you feed those bacteria enough sugar between brushings. And you could brush badly and be mostly fine if you ate like your ancestors did. That's the uncomfortable truth the toothpaste ads leave out. Your teeth aren't rotting because you're not scrubbing hard enough. They're rotting because you're feeding an ancient mouth a diet it has no defense against. The toothbrush is you standing at the door with a mop while the flood keeps coming from the kitchen. It's not a character flaw, it's a mismatch, and you were born into the losing side of it. But the mismatch isn't finished with you yet. Remember that shrinking jaw? Here's the part I saved for the end. It's still happening, right now, to you and to everyone younger than you. Our food keeps getting softer, more processed, easier to chew. And with every generation that grows up barely having to chew, the jaw gets a little smaller, a little more crowded. Wisdom teeth used to fit. Now, for millions of people, they simply don't and have to be cut out. A body part that worked fine for millions of years is becoming, in real time, a defect. Some researchers think we're watching a slow deformation of the human face, driven not by genes but by diet. Your children's mouths may be more crowded than yours. Their children's, more crowded still. This is evolution's cruel joke, not a slow improvement over millions of years. A fast breakdown, over a few hundred, caused entirely by the world we built. The caveman with the perfect smile isn't behind us on some ladder. In the one thing we're talking about, his mouth simply worked better than yours ever will. So why are your teeth worse than a caveman's? Not because you're careless. Not because he was cleaner. Because his mouth got the diet it was designed for, and yours never has. He ate hard, wild, unsweetened food, and his teeth grew straight and stayed whole. You were handed sugar, softness, and starch, and your ancient mouth was never built to survive it. Every cavity you've ever had is a small record of that mismatch. Every crooked tooth is your jaw telling you it never got fed the way it needed. It's not a flaw in you, it's a Stone Age mouth, doing its best in a world it was never made for. So the next time a dentist tells you to do better, you can. Brushing is real and it matters. But know what you're really up against. You're not fighting bad habits. You're fighting 10,000 years of a diet your mouth never agreed to. That crooked, patched up, hard-working smile in the mirror is the most modern thing about you. The caveman never had to fix his. He just ate and the world hadn't broken his mouth yet. That's the difference. That's you.